Evening, everybody, and welcome to Danielle, the Happy Medium. For all those who do not know me, I am Danielle. Let me just take a look at the stream. Let me just see what's happening. Let's see what I can see at your end, and then hopefully we can take it from there. Just checking on the volume, making sure the volume is tip top this evening, because I do like to make sure that it's. We're trying to get it better these days, anyway. Trying to get the. We're trying to get it looking better. Let's see if we can get into this stream. It's not letting me in yet, as you would do. But hopefully a few of you will be there. Evening, Samantha. Thank you very much for commenting. Let me know how it. Let me know if you can sort of. Let me know if it's any good to you. There we go. Bravo. We have live. Can you all see me? Okay. You should be able to hear me. Okay. Sounds like it sounds okay to me from where I'm sitting. I look a bit high this evening, so let's see if we can move me down. Anyway, thanks for joining me, Samantha. Thank you very much for commenting as well. I appreciate that. And welcome, like I say, to Danielle Hat Medium. This evening is live as always, so it's an opportunity for you to bring your questions along, talk to me about your mediumship, talk to me about, just about anything and anything that, is sort of up for grabs. So hopefully a few of you will comment in the box. Hopefully a few of you will bring your questions along. Can you all see me okay? The camera okay? Hiya, Del. It looks and sounds fab. Thank you, my darling. That's what I like to hear. I hope your sound is perfect. We've got it up. We've got it on the button. We're getting better all of the time. I really do appreciate that. So thank you very much. And hopefully you can all see me all right. So yes, like I say, this evening is live. I'll do the boring sort of intro. So we have a Zoom class coming up on mediumship and mechanics, which is English time on the 17th of April. We then have another one on Pacific time, which is the 24th of April, again on mediumship and mediumship mechanics. You can find all the workshops at www.daniellethehappymedium.com, and there's other dates up there as well, not just these ones. Some of them may have already started to go for those who maybe sort of want to come along. But yes, a lot of the main ones have already started to sell, so I'm very excited. We also have a load of open circles coming up. This is a new thing. I was talking about that. I hope you're doing well. I am Denise. Nice to have you back with me. Oh, you've got some questions for me, Denise. Hi to Kay as well, and also Christine, who's here. Evening, ladies. I hope you are well, and I hope you are keeping okay as well. So, like I say, we have got some new open circles. The majority of them, in fact, all of them, have gone. I couldn't believe it. We also have a sitting in the power meditation all done over. Well, it's not a meditation, it's a sitting in the power technique. Also via Zoom. They've also gone as well, but we are looking to open some up in May. I just want to see how these ones go first before I release any more dates. If they're successful, if they're sort of working really well, then yeah, we'll definitely take it from there, and I'll certainly open more up and look to do more open circles at least once a week, if not maybe once every fortnight. Definitely there. I do feel there's going to be a big demand for this, obviously with the current world affairs that we have at the moment. So I can only help where I can help and do what I can do, but I'll do everything I can and a little bit more to keep obviously you all training, all of you in a good place, and all of you sort of still doing your mediumship to the best of your ability. New video went up yesterday, I think. Another one's going up tomorrow, so check that out there as well. Hope you've got your cup ready. I have actually, Del, I've got my super mummy cup that the kiddies bought me. So yeah, I have got me tea here with me. So I'm open to your questions. I'm open to sit and talk to you. What else? What's the video coming up tomorrow? It's the one that's coming up tomorrow is the information coming in too slow. Big request from a few people who have been watching the channel, and it's also one I find with it with my students as well. So I've done that one, so that's going up tomorrow. So hopefully you'll enjoy that one, and the hints and tips should really help you out there a little bit. I've been painting actually. All the things I've been painting. So I was painting all day yesterday. So I got all the kitchen done, and all of the glossing around the bathroom and the passageway and that. I got all that done. And then today I've been busy doing all the ceilings in the front room and in my dining room, ready to do the glossing and stuff tomorrow. My little arms are killing, I've got to be honest with you. My ceilings are quite high, so I've been like reaching loads and loads, and my arms is killing today. Never mind yoga, I didn't need any yoga. I've been doing all my burning in there, and up and down steps, up and down, up and down. I must have done about 5,000 steps a day. But yeah, I've been very busy the day with one thing. So if I've got paint and that'll allow me, please do forgive me on that one there, alright? So Dell's asking me, how do you meet your guide or guides? So there's a couple of different ways, Dell. Firstly, most mediums or most newbie mediums or budding mediums are gonna want visuals first, always. It helps the mind, it helps the medium understand themselves a little bit more. It helps them sort of make it a reality as well. As you move further and further along the path, you'll start to use more clairsentience or claircognilian, or you may actually hear the spirit world, which is clairaudient. So there's a couple of different ways in which you can meet your guides. One of the ways is sitting in the power or sitting for the spirit world. Remember, they're sitting for you, and then they're sitting for the spirit world, then they're sitting for development, then they're sitting for obviously awareness and all these types of things. So there's also there's some guided meditations. Hi to Laura, nice to have you here with me, darling. There's lots and lots of meditations there on YouTube. I have got some new exciting things coming up, so sort of just stick with me there. It's still in the process. It should be released probably September time. Hi to Kelsey, one of my trainees there. Nice to have you with us, darling. So there's a couple of different ways you can do it, Del. Me personally, I would always go with the sitting in the power technique. I mean, guided meditations are great if you're into that type of thing, and it's your cup of tea. By all means, go down that road as well. But for me, hi, Derek. Nice to have you here with me, Dan. I've seen you've been chatting on my videos and stuff, so nice to have you here. So yeah, there's lots of different ways. I think I've got a section in the guide section in the channel for meeting guides, clairsentience, clairvoyantly, clairaudiently, lots of different ways. My advice would be check that one out, but more than likely it's going to be coming in either through sitting in the power or through meditation. There is another technique which I do, which some newbies might be able to do this. I wouldn't recommend this for a newbie, but I will give it anyway. Is actually linking in and bringing your guides in through that way. Now you have to be careful and make sure that you're questioning guides well and making sure that you're asking the right questions, because sometimes guides can get mixed up as loved ones and loved ones can get mixed up as guides. And this is where a lot of newbie mediums will not always question as well as they should, which is, are you a guide? What is your purpose? What you doing here? What can you give to? What can you help me? Where can you help me? What can you do for me? We need to, and I have a technique for guides. One I do very readily and have done for many years is, as soon as somebody come in from the team or want to join the team, I will say to that individual, I'll have a chat with them, and then I'll send them away. And I know you might look at me a bit crazy and go, but what are you doing that for, Danielle? And it's because I then send them away, a bit like the name technique. So I send them away. If they turn back up, then I chat to them again, and then I send them away. And then they turn up for a third time, then I entertain them. Then I'm more aware. Plus, it's also a collective of my other team. So obviously, Chief would have a say there. My other guys that sit in the background that I know is there, they would also have it would be a collective thing. It wouldn't just be, I would always have priority over that, but I will always hear what my other guides have to say, and whether or not my guides feel that that person's beneficial to the team, because they will have an opinion. It's whether or not I choose to take that opinion. So there are a couple of big techniques I can give you. Best one, Del, guide section in the YouTube channel. Check it out. That would be my best one to you there. So hi to everybody who's just saying hi. Please do bring your questions, especially Kelsey, because Kelsey's always got lots of questions. And Derek, I know Derek's new to the channel, so if you have some questions, Derek, I'm more than happy to answer, any questions you may have. Laura as well, I know Laura's new to me as well, and also joining me on some training. So if you have some questions, Laura, I'm more than happy to answer yours as well. So let me know how that resonates for you, Del, and if it's okay, let me know if you need a bit more on it. I'll certainly fill you in and give you a little bit more on that one there as well. So for all those who are new, do check out www.daniellethehappymedium.com with connections to training that's coming up via Hello Lover. I'm sure your name's Lindsay, if I'm not right. So hi, Lindsay. I'm so glad you caught another live. Well, bring your questions for me, my chicken egg. I'll certainly help you out there on that one. So as I was just saying, for any training, development classes, these types of things, it's www.daniellethehappymedium.com. Also, I want to say, I have been talking earlier on the stream, but I'll talk to maybe some of you who are new. We have got some new Zoom classes with connections to open circles, and also sitting in the power techniques. You can get involved with them via via classes, courses at gmail.com. The email account is running along the doofer, and everything else is in the description box below. You're welcome, Del. Not a problem at all. So, like I say, if you've got some questions for me, I'm more than happily willing to answer them for you. I've got a bit of a croaky voice going on, I've got to be honest with you. I think it's all that painting today. Tea's lovely. Lovely jubbly at all. Yes, it is, Lindsay. Ah, champion. I remembered. It's the little fairy thing I saw that made me remember it was your name was Lindsay. Normally, when somebody once I've seen it a couple of times, I remember stuff. If people tell me it, I forget. But normally, if I see it typed or if I see it on a badge or something, I always remember it. I must have quite a sort of can hold information a little bit more like that. Well, welcome, Lindsay. You got some questions for me, Don? Because normally you have some questions for me. So I'd be really interested to hear how your development's going. Tell me how things are going for you in the spirit world. Let me know how them things are for you, and I'll certainly, if I can help you, I'll help you, my dog. I don't know, but I'm going to turn that meeting down because it's a little warm in here, isn't it? With me, like, jumper on, and you think it was, like, the winter. It's been nice today, actually. Been doing uni lectures on Zoom, getting me used to it. For me, yeah, Zoom's a fantastic thing. I love Zoom, I've got to be honest. It's a very, been using it for about 2 years now. Well, what you do that for? Hold up, yes, Abby. All right, thank you, I'll get it. All right, thank you. The child's just leaving me tea. Thank you. Oh, I'll let you have the chair. I've got tea. More tea. So yeah, I like Zoom. I've got to be honest with you on that one there, Laura. Like I say, I've been using it for about 2 years now. It's really easy to use. Honestly, once you download it and you get the link to you, it's a doddle. It's a real talk. I like it because it has break off rooms and stuff like that as well. So that's really helpful. So it's really happy there. So let's have a look. So hi, Jabber Hugh said, hello, Lillian Love, all the way from California. I hope you're all right. Kelsey saying, for some reason I've subscribed. Trying to subscribe again. Oh, okay. No bother, Kelsey, sweetheart. Derek saying, can our guides appear as particular colours to us? So I've talked about this before. So everybody sees the spirit world differently. Everybody, Derek. No two people see the spirit world the same. That is why it's always unique to you. And I always say this to mediums when I'm developing them. Your mediumship is always yours, and it's unique to the way in which that you do things and the way in which that you perceive it. And I'll always say, some people need to see people. So some mediums or instruments need to see the people in order for them to be able to relate to it. Other people see them as energy. So some people see them as light, some people see them as dark, some see them in all different colours. It all depends. So I'll tell you a little story, Derek. When I first started out, I had a guide called Angelina. And Angelina was a pure energy. She was an angelic type of energy with pinks and blues, and she had all colours running through her. I've got to be honest with you on that one, Derek, right? And she was beautiful. But yet I could see her not only as the energy, but also I could see her as an individual. So it's how your mind perceives that energy as it hits your mind. And I've got to be honest with you, Derek, it's really good to be able to see them both ways, be able to see them as energy, but also be able to see them as humans as well. Because then some guides or even some communicators or loved ones that have come through will come through as an energy form. They won't actually come through as a human. They only come through as a human so that your mind will accept it, or your mind's taking that energy that particular way, so then you can then give that off as a connection to a sitter who may be sitting in front of you or on a demonstration to mediumship. So I've got to be honest with you, Derek, no one is right, no one is wrong. I know a particular lady from a few years back who had a particular guy, but she didn't know what he looked like. She just seen him as energy. So, an answer in short to your question, Derek, is yes, it can happen to you. Yes. I sometimes see loved ones, sometimes it's white energy, sometimes it's dark energy. And you know, like black, see, people think black is negative. That's what they think. We automatically assume because it's black, they think that it's negative. Sometimes I see the loved ones is black, and it's not that there's anything wrong with that particular loved one or there's anything untoward going on. It's just how my mind has perceivingly taken that energy at that particular time. So, an answer to your question, in short, is yes, Derek. So Lindsay's saying, I have a strange question for you. Oh, okay then. Is it possible to have a celebrity that passed on around you quite a bit? Or am I losing my mind? Right. Let me help you with that. So let's put it to you this way. You need to answer me the question first because I need to understand this. So the particular celebrity that you have with you, have you any connection to their loved one or like here to the earth? Or do you know somebody who knows that celebrity in the spirit world, Lindsay? Answer me that question in the box, then I'll be able to help you with that one. All right? Not necessarily, Lindsay. I would need to just know immediate answer that question for me. Then I can take a bigger look at it. Maya saying, "Hiya, Danielle. Hello, sweetheart." Del saying, "How to build up confidence and courage for readings or platform." Practice, Del, is the biggest thing I've got to say to you on that one. Practice makes more or less perfect. Also, what inner work are you doing as well? So, looking at the things that may make you feel a bit nervous, looking at them things that may make you feel as if you don't have a lot of confidence. Normally, when we're lacking in confidence, there's normally an issue with the solar plexus. So, I would be doing some inner work on that there, definitely. I would certainly be making sure that my instrument, which is me, was in the best place possible. When you shift that over to the parameters of mediumship development, and that type of thing. Right, I'll answer your question in a minute then, Lindsay, all right? Then what you would then be doing is practice. Practice would make that a lot better, as you do more and more sittings, as you do more and more open circles, as you do more and more development. Also, being with like-minded people is really helpful. If you're sitting with people that you don't really resonate with, or you're sitting in an open circle where there's maybe some in differences within the energies or differences within the minds, or that can also knock your confidence as well, because you've got people saying this is where your relationship with the spirit world is really important. When you don't have a very good relationship with the spirit world, you don't have a strong relationship. Anybody who has got that touch of sort of, I'm finding the right word to use there, Del, for the people who maybe are involved in them open circles, or the people who are in these development classes or whatever, are sort of knocking, which it does happen. I've got to be honest, and I've seen it, I've witnessed it firsthand. That can knock your confidence, and making sure, one, you're in the right place with the right mind frame of people who are on your wavelength. Two, make sure that you're practicing and where you're practicing and who you're practicing on. For me personally, I like either open circles, or I like practicing one-on-one, but I know a lot of people do photo readings, and that's okay too. The only problem with photo readings is you're linking in on a psychic link, and then you're taking your mind to the spirit world, or you have to make sure that you've gone to the spirit world first, brought the communicator forward, and then start a reading. So that's a definite big hint I would give on photo readings. Then it's just basically practice, making sure you're looking after the instrument, making sure the instrument is in the best place possible, making sure that you are working with that instrument and making sure you're addressing your issues and your problems. But there are a couple of the hints and tips I would give you for building confidence or courage on readings. Also, try, even if it doesn't work out, try, because a lot of mediums don't even try, if that makes sense. And then all sorts of it, and then what happens is they kick themselves for not trying. So the best thing to do is just try anyway, and then if it goes wrong, learning to work is also important as well in mediumship. So learning that when you get that no, go back, get a bit more information. 9 times out of 10, it's not that you presented it, it's not that the information's wrong, it's you presented it the wrong way. So what I would do is go back, get a little bit more, reword it, and give it back to the clientele. 9 times out of 10, they can take it, especially when there's people like myself who have this very northern accent, or those who maybe are working abroad, or those who are working maybe in different continents. There's always going to be that slight abbreviation of slang, slight abbreviation of grammar. So learning to work that note is important as well, and just reproducing that work with maybe a couple of extra words in, or a little bit of extra add-on. There are a few of the top tips I give you on that one, like Del. So I hope that helps you out there, my darling. So Lindsay saying no, right? So we've got two sections of that question. So the first question and the first section I have to talk to you about is yes, it would be valid, Lindsay, if you knew the person, or you had connections to that person, or the information in which that you were given or could produce from that celebrity could be taken here to the earth. Then yes, without a shadow of a doubt, that's never to be possible. I was reading somewhere on Facebook somewhere that there was somewhere in Las Vegas, there was a particular medium who was working, and a communicator, Elvis, come through. Yes, I know. You wouldn't believe it, would you? But Elvis had played at that particular place, and there was a gentleman who owned the place, was there that particular evening, and he could take the evidence. So intelligence in that capacity, Lindsay, is true, right, and accurate. I'm going to do a video on this. Let me just write that down. 2 minutes, just let me write this down, because otherwise I'll forget. Now, the second one, the other slide of it, is that unless the intelligence can be proven, and unless the intelligence can be taken within the room, then I have to question where you getting that. Now, is this particular individual right? You've just answered me there, Lindsay, because I was just about to ask you, do you like this individual, or do you like something about them? Which answered my question. So I tell you what I think may be happening here. So let me help you with this. When you're going into maybe sitting in the power, or where you're maybe going into your meditation, the conscious mind is always sort of slightly involved. Always. We can't get away from that, because obviously we're breathing, and there's got to be an element of us. Now what can happen is as we're sitting in the power, your conscious mind can then take over and start and put things in front of you, which is what you've maybe been thinking about prior, 10, 15 minutes earlier, these types of things. So what it sounds to me like, Lindsay, bless your little heart, is that your little conscious mind might be just running away with yourself, all right? So you need to be more emptying of the mind. I'm going to do a video on that now, emptying of the mind. When you're sitting for the spirit world, or when you're sitting in your meditationary state, because otherwise, also be mindful that if you're sitting for yourself, which is just the self, there's going to be them types of things with sitting within your auric field. When you move your mind, that shouldn't be there, because you've moved your mind to the spirit world. If that's not a good enough explanation for you, let me know, and I'll look to change it a little bit for you there. All right, or I'll help you understand it more if my abbreviation hasn't been good enough for you. All right. Hello, Denise, my darling. You told me not to focus too much on the name of my guide, but recently sat in the power and then asked if it was one of my guide's name, and I heard and saw the name of the day. This is the great thing with what tends to happen is we get very focused. We can get very sort of caught up in wanting names, wanting to feel this guide, wanting to know who these guides are, and we're constantly very, very focused on it. And I'm a great believer in allowing the spirit world to come of their own accord, and allowing the spirit world to draw forward as and when the time is right. What you have to understand with the spirit world is nothing is produced. You're never late, you're never early, you're always on time. And the spirit world show up when the time is right. So for example, when I'm doing a demonstration of mediumship, I'll get that one or two who's a little bit pushy, and maybe they'll show up a couple of days prior. It could also be the look at how my mind works, maybe getting to understand me a little bit more, whatever it may be. But the spirit world always turns up, and what you will always get what you're looking for, just not at the time when you want it. Also, because the mind's in the way and because it's a want, not a need, what tends to happen is the want outruns the need, which then means it's ego based, it's not spiritual based. If you learn to understand that it's a need, not a want, a need will come when the time is right. You have patience, and what the spirit world will also be looking at is how patient are you? Are you prepared to wait? Are you prepared to sit it out? Are you prepared to play the long game? Mediumship is the long game. It's not a short game. It's the long. Well, it's not even a game. It's just that terminology. So please don't take that as as a game, because it's not just terminology I'm using there. You're learning to do the long journey, better wording, longer journey, and not the short journey, and that everything will be provided and will be presented at the time, one, when your mind's ready, and two, when you're ready. But congratulations, Denise, I'm quite chuffed for you. Well done, my darling. If you have any more questions, I'll certainly take a look at that. So Sharon's saying, hi, Danielle. Hello, hello. Derek's saying, thank you. That explains the beautiful energy with shades of purple that I've been seeing. Do you know, Derek, I bet if you were to start communicating, it would talk to you back. Honestly, talk to it, it'll talk to you back. I guarantee you. Please do like this video and share this video with your friends. It really does help the channel. It really does help me sit in them algorithms there. So I'm really, really always asking you to like the video, share the video. It really does help me in that capacity. So thank you if you already have, and I look forward to you if you're going to do them things for me. So Lindsay's saying, I've just, right, but they're very much around. I would like to connect them with, right, I've no connection to them, and I like this person, but it's not someone I would try to connect. So I hope that, okay. Right, I'll come back to you in a minute, Lindsay. Del saying thank you, no problem, Del, darling. Maya, evening, Maya, darling, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you're on the world, my love. Lots of me move around for very much on the stage of demonstration, walk back and forth quickly. Probably because it's a habit, and maybe think that I need to keep the power to continue. When it is in fact doing the energy faster. Right. So you gotta remember, Maya, here, that everybody's different. And everybody's gonna actually do what they wanna do. And especially when it comes to demonstrations of mediumship. The problem with lots of people don't really like watching mediums move up and down. I can sort of understand, it's a bit like Wimbledon. It's like, back and forth, back and forth. But I have to understand it from the instrument's point of view. It may be the way that the spirit world's working with them. They have it. So if you watch me a lot, I can sit still, but there's a lot of hand movement. That's just the way my energy perceives me. More so when I'm demonstrating, I can stand still, but my arms is going to move and my hands is going to move, and it's just the way that I manipulate that energy when I'm working with the spirit world. And every medium's going to do it differently. If you were asking a personal viewpoint, is it something that I particularly like to see on a demonstration of mediumship? It's not my top thing to see, I've got to be honest, but I also appreciate and understand that's where people are coming from. I understand that that's how that instrument may be working that energy. But is it in fact drain energy? Maybe not, Maya. Maybe not. You've got to appreciate that that's how that instrument may work. So therefore, they understand that mechanic. So their spirit team have learned to adjust accordingly for that. For many mediums who are up on platform, they've been working diligently with the spirit world for a couple of years. So their spirit team more or less have a good understanding of where their mind is and how that mind may be working. So they may be understanding and have adjusted that energy accordingly to give for the moving backwards and forwards. I know some mediums don't like it, and I kind of shoot the dog for that. I know some mediums who don't mind it. I know there's some mediums like me, I can take it or leave it. It depends on if the evidence is good, if the demonstration's good. I don't mind the backwards and forwards. I'm going to lose interest, obviously, if the demonstration or the evidence isn't very good. I'm there more for the evidence than I am for what the medium's particularly doing. The medium could be standing butt naked, I've got to be honest with you on that one, Maya, as long as the evidence is true, right, and accurate, and is produced in a very good way, regardlessly, I've got no problem. So I'll tell you a little story, Maya. I watched a demonstration of mediumship about when I first started my mediumship, and the gentleman come in to the church, and you would think he was a homeless man. And I've got to be honest with you on that. He wasn't very well dressed. He wasn't exactly what I would call clean. But yet that man got up on that rostrum and he produced some of the best evidence I've seen in 5 years of doing mediumship, and I've seen some of the best in the business, Maya. I've got to be honest with you on that one. I go all over and watch demonstrations. Not as much now, but when I first started out my mediumship, yes, very much so. And I've seen a lot of mediums moving up and down and produced absolutely phenomenal evidence as well. I've seen those who stood very still not produce very good evidence. So really, in all fairness, Maya, I think it's just an adjustment of the energy, and it's how that instrument works. And for that, I cannot knock it unless the evidence isn't good. That's the only thing I can say. The evidence wasn't very good, and they were moving around a lot, and it was just a loud and nonsense. Then I'd probably have something to say. But if the evidence is good, I've got to allow the instrument to do as it pleases. So hope that answers. Does it actually drain energy faster? Probably not. May do, may not. Me personally, I would think the spirit team will account for that because they know what their instrument's doing. So I hope that answers your question a little bit for you there. I guess what's really odd, says Lindsay, what's odd is that this person will pop in and talk with my guide. Also when I'm sitting in there, also with my guide or a passive family member. Right. Lindsay, I got to be honest with you on this one. Unless the intelligence, don't take this to heart, all right? And I'm not trying to be awful. I know I did not everything, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. But I got to work with the intelligence that's placed with me, right? As far as I'm aware, and as far as I know, the spirit world of that particular individual wouldn't come forward to you or to the spirit world or your guide unless you have some ability to be able to give off that evidence to a loved one here to the earth world. Now, I can't tell you what to do, Lindsay. It's not my job to, and I wouldn't want to. And if you're comfortable sitting in them parameters, you go for that. I'm not gonna sit here and say that's wrong, nor right, nor nothing, because there may be something in this that you need to learn. All I will give to you is that the normal say, and this is the normal say. This is just what's said. This isn't a guaranteed sure set on the button number. What I have to say to you is normally what I said is that unless the intelligence can be proven, the celebrities wouldn't come forward. But if you believe that and you want to believe that, then who am I to say any differently? And who am I to give or take from you in order for you to feel safe? That's not my job. All I can do is present the facts to you, and you will do as you please thereafter. All right, and that's all I'm going to say to you. Hi to Helen. Nice to see you, Helen. Christine Coulson saying, evening, Christine. By sitting in the power has helped me a lot with my spiritual art, and the evidence is getting now. I feel more confident. Yeah, sitting in the power will do that for you. It really will. Sitting in the power is, remember, you're either sitting for yourself or you're sitting for the spirit world. There's one or the other. And I'm a great believer, and I've spoken about this for many, many months, years. Wait, how long have I had the channel? Be coming up to a year in June. Maybe a year in June, yeah. And I've been sitting in the power since, I first started out my mediumship. I was meditating first, and I dropped that and went for sitting in the power. It was more comfortable for me. Meditation didn't really sit for me. I couldn't get into it. But sitting in the power, I can. And I'm a great believer in it. It's even if you're not sitting for the spirit world, it's really beneficial for you as an individual. Just to sort of quieten the mind, just feel in a good place. It's really good. It's really good stuff. So for me personally, it will help you with your communications. It'll also help you to inspire and be a better person. So go for it, Christine, and congratulations. I commend you, and you'll keep up the good work there. There's Stacey. I'll see you the night, Stacey. So 2 a.m. I'm Pacific time. I'm training with my lovely Zoom. It's sold out, so nice to have you, and I'll see you the night, Stacey. All right, I hope you keep them well, and we'll have a good big giggle in the thing. Hey, they're funny, them Pacific lot. They crack me up. They do. Anyway, Del saying, sometimes a memory of mine is shown or told to me. Is it right to tell that person you're doing a reading about this memory? So, what we do is, Del, it isn't right to tell them your memory, right? But what you can do is you can interpret it in order so that when the communicator is talking to you, now this goes quite well with my mechanics. And my mechanics are a little different to other people's, I've got to be honest. Not everybody agrees with my mechanics, and it's getting me into a little bit of bother. My mechanics or my thoughts and feelings of the spiritual world is that they're using evidence that we all have within our mind, memories, everything that we've built, this, that, and the other. And that the spirit world, when they communicate, are flicking through the database like a file, pulling stuff out. And what they'll use is certain memories, which is what Dell's talking about there. And what we have to do is the medium or the instrument is to leave the memory of yours, but just represent it in a fashion so that the loved ones sitting beside you will understand it. That's all you got to do. You can talk about you as long as the clientele doesn't mind it. Now, lots of people will say that goes against the ethics. It'll go against professionalism, this type of thing. But when you're doing the one-to-one, it's up to you to gauge where you sit within them parameters. It's up to you to gauge what you feel is right for your clientele. Do you know what I mean? What one says and what others says is two completely different things. And you've got to make a conscious decision as the instrument and as the medium as to where your clientele sits in parameters with that. And it's not my job, nor is it anybody else's job. Yeah, we're meant to be professional, and I'm not disputing that. We're meant to be ethical. No, I don't dispute that neither. But I have to also say to my mediums who, train with me, get involved with me, whatever it may be, you've got to learn to read that situation to the best of your ability so that you can give your client exactly what your client needs. Now, if that means you've got to share a memory of your own in order for your clientele to understand that, then that's what you've got to do. And if that's going to bring some comfort, then who am I to say what's right, wrong, or indifferent there? My advice will always be to anybody in that capacity. Do what's right in your mind. Do what is, as long as you don't upset people. That's not what I'm saying. Different kind of run hurting people. That's not right either. But if your memory is going to give somebody the comfort that they need, which is what the reading is there for, then by all means, they'll go for it. Is it ethically right, professionally right? No, probably not, no. But in the same token, sometimes we've got to sort of not break the rules, but move the rules just a little to help our clientele. Or you could do it the other way, which is the way in which I've said, which is bring that memory to the forefront as they did, but just take you out and re-deliver it in another way so that the clientele gets it. There's one of two options there, Del. Whichever fits your boat, go with. Deb saying, hi, Danielle. Hi, Deb, love. Denise is saying, when I move my mind to the spirit world, I get tingles all through my body and starting on my feet. Would that be calling call for me when I'm connecting? What do you think it is, Denise? It's not my job to tell you. What do you think it is? Answer me in the box. Let me know. What do you think it is? Because this is where lots and lots of mediums go wrong. Lots of mediums are hoping that I'm going to give them all the answers. I'm not. I will hear you, and if I think you need more on it, then yeah, I'll do that. But I will always make you try and work it out first. It's important. Otherwise, I'm taking away your free will. I'm taking away your choice. I'm taking away your experience, your journey. So let me know what you think, Denise. And then I'll tell you a little story, all right? No problem, Christine. No problem at all. Lindsay's saying, are you laughing at me, Lindsay? You've got it good right. I understand. Trust me, I know it sounds... Oh, I'm not here to call anybody crazy. I'm not here to... I said this, I think, on the last live, and I'll say it again. You have to appreciate that we are all coming from a different place. We're all coming from a different setup. In what I might say something, you Lindsay might think, I don't know, that's as weird as wonderful. But then you're telling me that, and I don't think you're crazy. I just think that's your perspective, that's your box, and I'm okay with that. And when we get into this habit of accepting that we all bring something to the table, regardless as to how you may think it's crazy, will we learn to live in a better way? What happens is somebody would judge somebody. That's okay, Del, no problem. People would judge you for that. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to tell you what's right, wrong, or indifferent. I present the facts to you. It's up to you what you do with them facts thereafter. it's not my job to tell you your journey's wrong. It's not my job to tell you that what you see is right, wrong, or indifferent. I can only produce the facts to you and then leave you to make your decision from there on. It same as Denise. It's not really my job to tell her, but I will push her to go and see whether or not she can find the answer for herself. And that's where we will learn to all blend together and learn to be, appreciation of each other. And I think that's really important, when we're doing mediumship, that everybody's style is unique. Everybody brings something to the table, whether we agree with it or not, whether we like it or not. It's their styling, and there's lots of things I say I didn't like. I said that before, say it again. There's lots of things I didn't like at all. But it's not my job to get involved in the big plan. It's not my job to judge my fellow man. I did that. I did that for a long time, and I appreciate now. Where I fell down on that. I stick my hands in the air. You know what I mean? I realised that it wasn't until somebody said something to me that I was getting involved in the bigger plan. It was my job to, I didn't like it, but I appreciate that it's there, and I have to allow it. Well done, Denise. Then you leave it like that. That's your parameters, and I hope that you'll work with that more. And I'm going to tell you a story on that one. So it's not my job to get involved in the bigger picture, because what you do is you then reap yourself a bit of karma for that, because you're getting involved in somebody else's business. You're getting involved in somebody telling somebody that that's not true, right, and accurate, or you can't you can't do that. And I said that on the last live stream. You can't say for sure, because none of us know for sure. I tell you what it is. If there's somebody down here who can tell me for sure, 100% on the nose, bang on the pennies, then I'll show my bear off in Phoenix Winter. You know what I mean? But you can't, because everybody's interpreting it differently. So don't think you don't need medication. Medication. It's just the way you perceive it, and eventually over time things will change and alter for you. I'm not here to tell you medication or not medication. You make me laugh, you Lindsay, you crackers. You are crackers, like, but I like crackers. You know what I mean? I'm a big crackers myself. You know what I mean? I like a bit of crackers. You know what I mean? Lots of people say I'm a bit weird and wonderful. You know what I mean? But I like being a bit weird and wonderful, because if I wasn't, the world would be a bloody boring place, and I'm not really into boring. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm not really into one tone Annie. You know what I mean? I'm not. But that's just my personal preference. Not everybody's gonna get me. I'm a bit weird and wonderful. Not everybody's gonna get me. Not everybody's gonna like me. And I'm okay with that. Learn to be comfortable in your own skin, Lindsay. Learn to be happy with who you are. And what you see is your perspective. And I'm happy with that. You're not doing anybody any harm, are you? Nope. So therefore, go for it. You know what I mean? Go for it. Nah, probably if you were in the professional business or something, some probably saying you shouldn't be doing them things. But who am I to say what's wrong or indifferent here? Anyway, Maya's saying thanks. I agree. Everyone has the right to their own style. I agree. Nothing wrong with that. Just interested in your opinion of how it affects the energy. Do I think it affects the energy? No, not really. I've got to be honest with you on that one. Because, like I say, the spirit world will be aware of how their instrument works. So, therefore, I would think that the spirit world would adjust for that. I think the spirit world would adjust for that sort of parameters. Now, if you're talking about all they're doing is burning their energy backwards and forwards, which by the end of the demonstration they're going to be probably a little tired, yeah. But do I think it's going to burn spirit energy? No, I don't think it'll have any effect on that whatsoever. So I hope that answers the question a little bit more for you there. Pat saying, hi Danielle, hope you're well. I had a strange dream Sunday night. I was sat in your kitchen having a cuppa with you and a chat. Ah, how strange. How strange indeed, Pat. Definitely. What we're talking about, Pat. Hello, Patricia. I hope you're well, and thank you very much for your comments on my videos. I do appreciate your comments and things, so thank you very much for that, and thank you very much for liking them stuff and all that there as well. So yeah, no, Helen's saying quite often. When I am drifting into a sleep state, I hear voices. It's like I'm hearing conversations. I feel like it's clairaudience ramping up. How can you develop this? And when am I awake? Right. So what's happening there is Helen, my lover. So let me just get me bum comfy in the seat. So what's happening is that when we are going to sleep and as we quieten down from the walking world, when we go to bed, it's an opportunity for us to have peace and quiet. A bit like sitting in the power. And what happens is as we start to drift, we are making our mind start to drift over to the spirit world. And what we're doing is we're looking for the spirit world. So you've got to be looking for the spirit world, Helen, in order for the spirit world to be presented. What then happens is that we will hear conversations. We will see things. We may feel things because our mind is in the spiritual world. If you're hearing voices, then yeah, it probably is clairaudience. I've got no problem with that. Can I develop this? I've got a video in the YouTube channel with respect to clairaudience and exercises with connection to that one there, Helen. Clairaudience is a natural progression. Again, I don't think it's a clair that can be pushed. I think it's a clair that will naturally develop of its own time. Some people don't hear the spirit world at all. They'll just say it clairvoyantly, so they'll see the words written, or they'll, say it sort of, in and amongst around them. So not everybody is clairaudience. Not everybody has that ability. Not everybody is clairvoyant. So you'll have natural clairaudience mediums with no clairvoyancy. And if you're looking to develop that, that's going to take some time. That's not something that's going to happen overnight, Helen. Check out the video on clairaudient exercises in the mechanics section of the YouTube channel. That'll be helpful to you. Allow it to develop of its own accord. Also, Helen, you could go to the spirit world, ask them is the things that they can bring in order to help develop that. Getting back to Denise and her story. So, many moons ago, once upon a time, in a far-off land, there was a girl called Danielle. And Danielle was a fledgling, a new medium. And as Danielle was progressing and moving along her journey, Danielle used to link to the spirit world. And with that connection, there used to be a lot of what I call vibration. She used to get all these tingles. It used to be like that, all across my auric field. And it used to be an opportunity for me to know, Denise, that I was on the right path. It was an opportunity to know that the information that I was given was true, right, and accurate. So when you asked me that question, I knew the answer. I just wanted you to work it out for yourself. So in essence to your question, in essence to what you asked me about, yes is the answer to your question. But I wanted you to go and look for the answer first. And then I thought, well, I'll give you that story in order to give you more on that. All right? So I hope that helps you a little bit there. So Laura's saying, for some reason, when I get pins and needles, yeah. When I start meditating, yeah. Right, wait a minute. Just give me a minute while we get rid of some of the people who are not supposed to be here. So anyway, so Laura's saying, for some reason, when I get pins and needles, when I meditate, it calms me down, but hey, if it's gone, help me, well, who am I to argue? Yeah, just, you've got to learn to just go with the flow there, Laura. I've got to be honest with you on that one. Learn to just go with whatever it is that's been presented to you at that time. Allow them things to just sort of go with the flow. So that eventually what happens is that the spirit world. I was talking a little bit about this one in connection to last stream. So we were talking about, clairvoyance, and at first you were just seeing eyes and colours and these types of things. What I would say to you there, Laura, is what the spirit world may be doing is just testing. There could be testing to see how you're getting on. And then after that, they may start and bring more and more and more in there, Laura, in order to see whether or not you're particularly picking that up, and if and how you're picking it up. Then from there they'll start and add more and more things in. And what I would say is keep a journal on that, see how that's progressing for you. Because sometimes what the spirit world's doing is just working with the mind. They're just wanting to see how much the instrument is allowing and not allowing, and where they may need to take some sort of, or make some kind of tweaks there. So I hope that helps you out there a little bit, my darling. So let's have a look. Tell us your opinion on trance mediumship. My opinion on trance mediumship. Love it. Love trance mediumship. I do trance myself. I love trance. It's one of my favourite things. Well, apart from that mental mediumship teaching, like, but yeah. But trance comes under the mental medium bracket anyway, so but I love it. If you see it, and I tell you what it is, if you get to see a good trance medium, amazing. I've been over, not last year, the year before, I went all over from down to Bristol, Somerset, right up to Scotland. I went all over and seen a few different mediums doing trance. Yeah, love the stuff, man. Like, I've got to be honest. I love the idea of all back rooms, training during back rooms, out-fashioned mediumship. That really does float my boat, like, I've got to be honest with you. Yeah, love it, Patricia, I've got to be honest. My nana was called Patricia and all. Pat saying you were talking to me about my nana. Well, I hope I was able to help you some there. We were sat at a small table. Well, I hope I've been able to help you out there. Right, let me just sort of see if we can sort of sort this lot out. Let's have a look. So, there we go. I like it when we get some nice people, some really interesting people who are different and a bit different. So Ben Dover's here. Evening to you, Ben. I hope you're welcome. Not a problem at all, Helen. Not a problem at all. I like it when we get some randoms. They make it really interesting. I've got to be honest with you on that one. Let's have a look. So I'm gonna have a look. Right, let me just give me a minute there, folks. Right, so let me see if I've looked. Answered Patricia's question. Yeah. Has talked about a nana. We was at the small kitchen. Yeah. Ben's here. So Dell's asking, what do you expect from a development circle? How do you know if the circle is right for you? No problem, Helen. And you, Denise, not a problem at all. I'm just having a look. We've just got some randoms, that's all. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we've just got some random sort of coming on. It's all right. It happens from time to time, you know what I mean? Very nice. It's very nice of them to join us, but I don't think they're in the right place. I've got to be honest with you. So when Dell's asking me about development classes, so for me, development classes, there's a couple of things I look for. So I'm looking for a connection to how well the development group is harmonized. I'm interested in knowing how well the people in the room know each other, how long the development circle's been going. That's another important question I'll be asking. It doesn't really matter who's running the development circle, but I would always be interested to know their knowledge and where their knowledge may be and how it fits within my parameters. Could I learn anything from their parameters? You know, because as I've always said, and I'll always keep saying, we all bring something to the table, no matter what development class or circle we may sit in. So it's always important. My first one is, does it come recommended? 2, how long's that class been running for? And if the class is on my wavelength. 3, is the group harmonizing? You normally tell, because normally with development groups, as much as I shouldn't say this, I will say it. There's normally some favourites. There's normally a few of them that's a bit clicky. So normally when none of that's going on, that's the kind of development class you're looking for. Everybody's an individual and everybody's allowed to be an individual. So I've got to be honest, they're the kinds of things that I would be looking for. I don't really look at, you know, who's sort of running it, what credentials they've got. Credentials are irrelevant to me. Relevant. I'm not really into credentials. You know, I know lots of people have got them, and I've got no issue with them, none whatsoever. It's just not a particular thing that I look for in a development circle. I'm more interested in the knowledge that that teacher has in respect of how they treat their students, how they interact with their students is a big thing. You know, have they got time? Have they got time for Have they got time for their student? Have they got time for answer questions? How do they treat their students is really important as well. You know what I mean? I've heard a lot of different tales throughout the industry. You know, teachers sleep with students. It goes against all my ethics. That is a big ethic for me. You know, I don't get into sleeping with my students and that. And then I've heard it goes on. I'm not for sure if it does, but I have heard that. I'm not saying it's true right now, but it is something I've heard, and it normally goes on within development classes and stuff. It's not really my cup of tea. Like, I've got to be honest with you on that one. But again, you know, it's only hearsay, and I kind of probably maybe I'm maybe accusing gossip in this, and my apologies. You asked me a question, I've got to answer it fairly. I have got to answer it fairly. So there are a couple of the things that I would be looking for, Del, if I was looking at a development circle. Was I drawn to it? That would be another thing. If I was drawn to that class, was I drawn to that particular church? If so, have I got something to learn from it? That's how I would look at that. Like, hope that answers your question. We've had quite a few individuals. I don't know who you are. So if I've missed you, let me have a look. If I've missed your question or I've missed oh, Miss Laura's. My apologies, Laura. I always was nervous about getting into the spirit world. So like I'm thinking they're almost easing me in. Yeah, and like I said, they will do that. They will sort of test you. They'll take a look. They'll see what it is that you how your mind's perceiving this. Will your mind take that? If not, let's try something else. The spirit world's quite good like that. They'll look at like different things, and they'll the best thing to do is if you're developing on your own. No problem, Del. I hope I answered your question. If you're training on your own, make sure you're writing it down. If you're developing if you do, I know, Lindsay. Bless the little heart. I think they were in the wrong place, unfortunately. But what I will say to you is that you know, if you're developing in a development circle, make sure you're talking to people in the circle, because then the spirit will become aware that you've actually experienced that, and they'll do more of it, or they'll adjust it. If you're not talking about it, or you're not talking about your experiences, what tends to happen is that the spirit world will either try something else or will look at something else, because ultimately that's all. My apologies there on that one. The spirit world will stop sort of doing that, and they'll look for something else. So if you're developing on your own, write it down. If you're in a development class or you're working in an awareness class, then make sure you're discussing them with the people in the class, so that the spirit world are really aware that you've experienced that, and they'll either bring more of that in, or they'll try something else or do new things in order to bring new experience to you. So check that one out there as well, alright? Lindsay's saying, wow, they really, I know, I coped well, I think. I hope I did anyway. I don't know where they come from. It's the first time we've really had any experiences like that, because normally, I mean, we didn't have that kind of issue. Like, why do I feel so happy, and I don't know, Del, why do you always feel so happy? I don't know. I think that's a positive mental attitude, and looking at how you work with your instrument on a day-to-day basis and want to positively move your life forward in whatever capacity. I think it's really important that we continue to be in the best place possible with the instrument. It's vitally important. It helps with your mediumship as well. The more positive you can be, the more easy your mediumship will be. I'm not saying it's going to rectify every problem you have, but making sure that you keep your mind in the best place possible, even when things aren't quite working out the way you want them to work out, will certainly benefit your mediumship a lot more than constantly worrying about them types of things. So Christine's off. Bye bye, Christine. And night, darling. Lindsay's saying, what do you feel is the best way to connect? Sit in the power or put your mind in the spirit world? Both. I know you're probably gonna look at me a bit strange, but both actually, Lindsay. So for me personally, sitting in the power, sitting in my own power for a bit, sort of make sure I'm in a good place, the instrument, maybe do a bit of work on me, and then I'll shift my mind and I'll go to the spirit world, and I'll say, you can actually do both. You can have both, it'll be the best of both worlds in that capacity. So certainly check that one out. Me personally, I think both. Now that. Bless your little heart. No, for me personally, Lindsay, both. I normally do 10 to 15 minutes of me, just checking in with me, making sure I'm in the best place possible, any sort of inner work that I feel that I'd like to do. And then I shift my mind and I go into the spirit world and I'll have a big chat with Chief, or I'll just have a big gig round, or, I'll just sort of see what the spirit world want to talk to me about, you know what I mean? These types of things. I think it's just, I suppose it's just whatever you want to do on that particular day, you know what I mean? If you want to sort of, you know, if you just want to sit for yourself, sit for yourself. If you want to sit and then go into the spirit world, then by all means do so. Putting your mind in the spirit world, normally for me, is where I would be working. So once I've planted my mind in the spirit world, that's it. Once I'm doing communications, my mind hasn't shifted, unless there's been some serious issue or some problem, with connections to a disturbance within the audience. So, i.e., a couple of weeks ago, Jarrah, this has never happened to me before. It was last year actually. I was at Jarrah. Jarrah's a local church here in the northeast of England. The woman had a heart attack in my congregation. Honestly, I've never ever, in all the time I've been demonstrating, had that type of thing go on. I've got to be honest with you. It was quite nerve wracking actually. It was quite daunting actually. So yeah, that's the only time my mind would come out the spirit world, or that would sever the connection, if that makes sense. I hope that helps you a little bit there. Delsium, why do I feel scared or nervous when submitting a reading, but I trust my guide? It's a human thing. It's a human thing of wanting to be right. It's a human thing of, I suppose when we do our work, and we do our work to the best of our ability all of the time. The majority of mediums are now are doing their work to the best of their ability. 99.9% of the time. Sometimes they're working a little bit below par, but even then they're still trying to do the very best they can at that particular space in which that they sit within. And for me, I think it's feeling of maybe letting somebody down, might not get it right. And I think when we're doing readings and when we're doing demonstration mediumship, there's an added pressure there. There's a pressure from ourselves as well as a pressure from the congregation to deliver. And it's a big thing in the industry as you become more and more well known, there becomes more and more expectation for you to deliver and sort of do this and do that. And you can sort of get caught up in that sort of hamster wheel is the best way I can put it to you, like Del. And I think it's a nervousness of, maybe we've got it wrong. It's a human thing. It's a I wouldn't say it's an ego thing. I wouldn't say that was ego. It's a lack of I'm looking for the right word. It's a lack of sort of trust in you as an individual. You maybe don't trust in yourself enough. And I think we always question us as an individual of whether or not we're doing enough. Are we doing it right? If so, how can we improve? It's striving really, so you've got to be careful with that one there and all. But I think it's more just the fact that you're frightened you might let somebody down. And you've got to remember you're only doing the best you can at that space in which that you are. And sometimes, unfortunately, we just don't get it right in the business. We don't produce what the clientele's looking for. Our gauge isn't quite right. Our mind's not quite there. Whatever it may be, there's gonna be them days. No matter what you do, you gotta have that demonstration. There's gonna be them days where it's just not working for you, and you've got to accept that. No matter how much you faddle around with your mediumship, no matter how much you alter and change it in order to fit the demonstration or whatever, it's just not quite gonna hit. Do you know what I mean? And it's just one of them things. And when I first started out, I'll be very honest, I was impeccably trying to please everybody and to produce. And now I don't do that. I accept that what I produce on that day is exactly what it was meant to be, no more, no less. And if it's not right, then it's just the way it is. That's just how it happens to be. And if it needs to be a refund, it needs to be a refund. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I'm a great believer, and I see it going on all the time with my readings and with demonstrations. Where sitters kind of text up in the room, and then 6 months later, they're on another demonstration of mine. And look, Annie, you'll never guess what, you give me a message, Danielle, last time you were like, aye. I went away and I checked all that, and it's true right now. And it doesn't always help for you as the medium in the congregation or as on the sitting. Because people, we live in a society now that is very much what we call instant. So people want instant straight away. They want instant answers. They want instant clarification. And mediumship isn't instant. Mediumship is a I talk about this. I did a video on it. It's called building blocks. So we'll start small, and eventually we get bigger and bigger and bigger over time, if that makes sense. And for me, I'm yet to see, I'll be honest with you, any medium who produces wham and bam and bits of evidence. And I've, like I say, I've been all over watching different mediums. They never produce big, bold bits of evidence right off the bat. They'll always start in a particular way. Their mechanics is a certain way. They'll start in a particular style because that's their mechanics. And then eventually, as the mind starts to settle in the spirit world and the energy's flowing and the room's working or the sitting's working, they'll start and push and push and push for more because you feel more confident. You're getting yeses. It's like, yeah, this is right. And you just keep going with that flow. So it's just unfortunately, Del, just one of them things. It's as you practice more and as things move forward, you'll get better at that. I think it's a newbie medium thing on everybody, no matter who it is. So I hope that helps you a little bit there. Lindsay's saying, do you suggest putting a protection around you before talking to spirit, or is it not really needed? It's not really needed, I've got to be honest with you on that one, and I think I told the story on the last live in connections to that. For me personally, for many years, I did all that stuff, thinking it was the right thing to do, and all the rest of it is you do. When Al come out, it was loud and nonsense. I've got to be honest. But somebody did sort of point me in the right direction in regards to that, and I've got to give credit where credit's due. But for me personally, no is an answer to that question. No. So I hope that answers the question a little bit for you there, Lindsay. Laura saying, be back in a minute. Didn't say anything too exciting. I don't know how I was. But I'll see you when you come back, Laura, love. Right. Lindsay saying, I can always connect immediately to my guides, family members, my celebrity friends. I love it. I love the fact that you give. Do you know what I really like about it now, right? Is you're just out there owning it, like wearing it. You know what I mean, like a badge. It's like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I gotta admire you for that. You know what I mean? Because many people wouldn't even say them things. Most people wouldn't even talk about them things for fear of like reprimanding in the industry. And I have to admire you for standing out there, talking about it and giving it like you're saying, look, my celebrity friend, I love it. I like you. I think you're a real fresh breath of air. Like, I gotta be honest with you. It's interesting. It's really good. I love it, right? Like, anyway, but yes, I definitely is the power to connect with others. It's something you got to remember, sitting in the powers and hours for connecting to the spirit world. It's not about hours, linking in, because you got to remember you're burning energy every time you get into the spirit world. So you got to remember you got to bear them things in mind. Sometimes it's just important to sit in your own energy and sort of replenish the stocks, because you got to remember you're using your energy to get into the spirit world. You're using your energy to sort of power your mind to take you to the spirit world. So remember to make sure you're replenishing your own stocks and making sure that you fulfill yourself to the best of your ability. But yeah, I love it. I love you. I think you're crazy. Where are you from? Are you from the States by any chance? I bet you are. Just out of curiosity, where are you from, Lindsay? If you say to me, the United States, it wouldn't surprise us. I have a lot of girls in that Pacific class. Hey, honestly, what a scream. What a scream. Yeah, I knew. I knew. You state lots. You love it. You love it. I love the States lasses. You are funny. As funny as anything. You have got a cracking sense of humour. You didn't take anything too literal. Like, I gotta be honest. Those British, we are very funny people, but in a very different sort of attitude. Yeah, you States, outguns, anything, just about anything. I gotta be honest with you on that one. I knew as soon as you said it to us. Oh wow, funny as hell. Absolutely funny as anything. I knew when he told us. States like celebrities. I mean, there's a lot of big celebrity, like mediums and stuff out there. It's a big thing out there. Last one, and I'll leave you. No, by all means, keep going. what are you saying there, too? I says, you state lasses are fantastic people. You've got a really interesting sense of humour. I like it. You're straightforward and you didn't take things too literal. Coronavirus, I was a doctor, I was tested for corona. Oh. Clean your phones. Look, love, right? As much as I realise there's a pandemic going on out there, right? I've watched about as much corona virus as I can possibly handle right now. So, last one. I'll see you tonight anyway. Stacey's coming. It'll be all good. Last one, I'll leave you be. Why do you feel joy and uplift when doing readings? I never get sad for some reason. I think, and this is, I think, a lot of will do this. Lots and lots of mediums, and I'm not trying to have a pop at anybody here. They look for the sad stuff. They look for all the depressing stuff. They didn't look for the uplifting stuff. And you know, every communicator, no matter how bad they are, or how bad they were down here, or what bad life choices they made, let me rephrase that. You know, they still have a funny story. They still have an interesting topic that they can talk about, and that probably is what made. So I'll give you an example. I was down at Ely, which is down in Cambridge, a couple of weeks ago, and I think some of you might have seen the video I put up, which was the awareness one. And I was doing a demonstration mediumship. I did this like their Sunday services on a Thursday, and then on the Friday night I did the special. And as I was doing that demonstration, this professor come through, right? And I've noticed quite a big change in the types of communicators I've been doing. I've been watching that steadily now for probably about 6 to 8 months, maybe. And yeah, there was this sort of this professor come through, and he was talking about, you know, how I could see all these imagery of like symbols and like the stuff that you'd use on. I'm a great lover of science, as many of you all know. And he had like that periodic table up with all the different sort of symbols on and stuff. And I was in my element, me. Like, I was like, yeah, I like this. And, you know, he had a really interesting sort of unique story of, like, he was talking about, he was a gentleman, he used to be, he was a bachelor. And he used to go down London, down to, like, he was from the 50s and 60s. And he was talking about the bunny girls, you know, the Playboy bunny girls, and he was in a gentleman's club in a back room and all of this lot. And he was talking, and never once did he talk about his passing. Not once did he talk about anything sort of depressing and sad and stuff like that. And we don't say enough of that. And I think that's I think when we're doing mediumship, the intention of what we're doing mediumship for is really important. So are you doing it for evidential, which is, you know, facts, figures, this type of thing? Are you doing it to tell a funny story? If so, what kind of stories are you looking to tell? You know, and what the spirit will do is then design that for you. They will bring that into the communication. Are you going to do some stories because you're sad? You know, are you doing children? Are you doing people who have what I call like not different, special. So I call children with special needs. You know, adults with special needs. You know, with Down syndrome. I see very little communications done on Down syndrome. Honestly, you know, I do Down syndrome children and adults, and I've been on a lot, like I say, lots of different demonstrations. I see very little of it, very little of like children with cerebral palsy. You know, these types of. I've got two girls in my classes. Both girls are in that. Are both in. They're in the schooling industry. They're both in an industry where they deal with children who are beautiful in every way. And I don't say, unfortunately, we have to understand this is not everybody passes with cancer, not everybody passes with this, not everybody passes with that. Some pass in much different ways, you know, and we have to be very mindful of that. We need to make sure our mind is as open as possible. It tells me that you're looking for that particular stuff. You, as the instrument or the medium, is looking for only happy stuff, Del, and that's why. So I hope that helps you there with that connection. If you were looking for sad stuff, then that's what you're going to find. It's a bit like what you was, what you attract. It's what you're looking for is what you'll get. If you're looking for this, you'll get that. If you're looking for that, you'll get that. It's about what your mind is allowing up. So that's why. That's what I hope that answers the question all bit there for you. Lillian's laughing. You got it good right, Lillian. In your element, yes, I was. I like science. I like things that give me a lot of substance. I like to understand the the parameters of things. And science was one of my best, and my biology and chemistry and stuff like that. So I like anything that works with my mind. You know what I mean? I'm a feeling kind of girl and all, but I do like facts and figures. Like I've got to be honest with you, I'm a facts and figures kind of woman. Denise is saying, my mediumship goes through phases. Yeah, it does. And the slow go sometimes I'm not, and sometimes and I hear you and I say stuff. Yeah, it does, and I think this is what people need to understand. Your mediumship will take different, some cycles are very short, other cycles are a little bit longer, some are a little bit longer still. And what most mediums do here, which is where Denise is on about, is they'll panic and they'll jump out and start looking for loads of development. They'll start and look for classes. They'll start looking for this, that, and the other, and think that there's something wrong. And what they try to do is fix the mediumship. Well, what they really need to understand is just allowing it'll fix and become relevant of its own time. And I'm not saying take hints and tips and little bits and pieces here and there. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they'll go out and they'll buy, 10 different packages, and they'll buy umpteen Zoom classes, and they'll do thousands of this, that, and the other, and that's not going to be helpful. What's happened is that the spirit world is asking you to give them time to adjust and get things ready for the next step. Because if you're constantly go, 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 go all the time, the spirit world haven't got time to bring in the next step. When we sit in the power, they're working in the background. But if we're constantly working, doing messages, open circles, platform, training, teaching, sharing knowledge, there's not a great deal of time for the spirit world to do the things that they want to do. So what they start to do is they start to slow things down. They don't slow completely, but they'll just slow it ever slow slightly so that they can do the things that they want to do. This is where most people come to me and go, my work's changed. That's the next thing they'll say to me, Denise. So they'll say to me, my work's changed, something's not right, and then they'll start again shooting out for more development because the work's changed. What they haven't experienced and understand is that the instrument has changed because the instrument has had some kind of development, which is why the mediumship has slowed, while the spirit world has been doing work in the background. What people don't realize is that the instrument has to keep development. If instrument's not developing, the mediumship's not moving forward. And if the mediumship's not moving forward, then you stay still. And this is where lots and lots of people come in and go, my mediumship's still, Danielle. I'm not moving forward. Nothing's happening. And it's because the instrument has been having work done, which means the spirit world has slowed ever so slightly while they do the work they need to do. And then you'll find it picks back up, i.e., I'll give you a premise on it, I was that person. So for 3 or 4 years, I just was at it. Full of push, 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 push. And then about a year ago, I had to slow down. Sort of step back a little bit. I had to step back and adjust the instrument. The instrument needed adjusting. The instrument needed to learn some stuff. And you can't be learning the instrument and doing the mediumship all at the same time. It's either one or the other. You can't do both. And many will disagree with that, and I appreciate their opinion, and I hear them. But from my own personal experience, I'm a great believer in you can't do one of the. You can only do one at a time. You can only do one thing at a time, properly. If you can do multifaceted things and do them well, but only one thing at a time will be done properly. So I hope that answers your question a little bit for you, Denise. We Americans have a good sense of humour. Yeah, you do like your reality shows. Yeah, I know. Lillian's friend with me on Facebook, and she shares lots of different bits and pieces. So I see bits and pieces of American shows out there. So yeah, you do. Happy stuff. Yeah, definitely, Del. Definitely. What started your mediumship journey? I think I've told this story 1,000 times. So in 2014, I had a really bad year. In fact, about 2 to 3 years prior, 2 to 3 run up to that year, I had a bad year. So my nana died. I was working in the NHS, and I left the NHS and went private, which was an absolute really bad decision, where I was bullied massively in the private sector. I went in and tried to change things. The private sector just didn't like it. They didn't like it at all. It had been run by the staff for many, many months, private home, challenging behaviour. My background is mental health, challenging behaviour, end of life, palliative care, district, NHS, and private sector. And when I went into this private home, it had only been open about 9 months, and they were looking for RGNs and stuff to go in, run the floors, and to obviously bring some sort of structure into the place. Then I had a couple of different managers in and out of the place, which hadn't really worked for them. So I went in, and it just didn't go doing well at all. Like, I've got to be honest, they didn't like they liked the way it was. It was me personally. It was I was into nursing for my client. I was in it for my patient. My patient was to get the best possible care. They were in it for how many tea breaks they could have and how many smoke breaks they could have. That type of thing. I was accused of, not being very nice to them, which that wasn't the case at all. They just didn't like the fact that there was some structure being brought in and some new standards and X, Y, and Z, and there was all of that. And then at the time my Nana passed away, and I was with a gentleman who I was due to marry, who eventually was dating a girl behind my back from work and got the girl pregnant. So I had quite a lot go on in them first 3 years. So in 2014, I met a girl who I'd known for many years prior, I hadn't seen in some time. And funny enough, I train her now. How weird is it? And she had been in meditation. She'd been down on ghost busts, these types of things. And I didn't really, I'd had these experiences prior. I'd heard people shout my name out. I dreamt stuff and it'd come off. That had gone on and off all my life. But never been in spiritualism. My dad, my mum, there's no spiritualism at all in my family. None. My dad's an engineer. My mother works for Asda. She's a store manager. That's what my mother is. And has been for 30 years. My father has been an engineer for 30, 40 years. Way longer probably, because my mother's in her 60s, so was my father. So anyway, that was that. So there was no sort of spiritualism. And my friend said, look, why don't you try this meditation stuff? And I was like, fair enough. Let's down for it. So I did. I got in the chairs, put my earphones in, and I'm not joking. I couldn't have been. I could have been gone a while, but for me, it didn't feel like it. Only felt like 2 minutes. And I'll never forget, there was a man come forward. Went back. I just seen his head there, and all I heard inside of my mind was, "I've been waiting for you." And I'm not joking you. And pardon my French, I nearly shit myself. I pulled the earphones out. I was like, "Who the fuck is that?" Like, who is that? Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh my god. Honestly, and that's nowhere of a lie, that. And it's funny because 2 years prior, when I first got the house, when did I get the house? 2011. I got this house. And I knew there was somebody in this house. When I come to view it, I remember looking up the stairs and being aware that there was somebody there. I just knew, right? So anyway, I'll get into that, Lindsay. So not a year later, I've got a brother called Martin. My brother had bought me these set of tarot cards, right? So I had these tarot cards out, and I knew I wasn't going to be with the tarot cards. I knew that. But I liked the pictures, and I understood them. And because I didn't like my job, I wasn't in a good place with my job. I sort of started like messing around with these cards, and instantaneously I just knew what it meant. I just knew. I just looked at it and thought, I know what these mean. So I thought, right, I'm going to test this out. And at the time, I was still working, and I started sitting in the power and meditating and all this type of thing. I was seeing loads of pretty colours and, all sorts of stuff. And I was just sitting, and I was doing these cards, and I opened this little group on Facebook, and I invited a few friends in. I just started testing on them, and as you do. And honest to God, it just took off. And I'll never forget. And it's funny, right? I'll never forget. I'd opened the page up. I was still working at the time. No, I didn't. That was right. I put my notice in because it was so mean to me, right? I put my notice in. I told the stuff I noticed where the sun don't shine, where the stuff I job where the sun don't shine. And I had my month's wages, right? That's all I had. And I remember I used to talk to Chief at the time about weeks prior to that. I was saying, like, what am I going to do? Like, is it going to work? Ooh. And all I got back was, we will support you no matter what. And I was like, yes, right? So I decided, right, I'll put me notice in. And I was thinking to myself, I hope to God this works, because if it doesn't, I'm looking sick, right? And I opened the page, which is my Danielle Happy Medium Facebook page. So if you're not a liker, come on over. And I remember I was advertising. I just started advertising, and there was a lad, a gay lad. He was my first ever single reading, right? And I was doing this group, and I'd done this group and that. And funny, he only come to see me a couple of weeks ago, and he comes every year. every year, and I've been open for business 5 year, 6 year in September. And I'll never forget, a girl booked us for a group in Bishop Auckland. And I can remember saying to her at the time, probably my mediumship wasn't as strong as it is now. I was more probably psychic than I was medium, or I was developing, if that makes sense. And I remember saying to her, "You're going to win money." And I said, "So you're going to win money about Christmas time?" She got in touch with me on Christmas Eve. She'd been the 1,000th person to walk over the door at Darlington, Bishop Darlington store. It's like a mall type thing, you know. And they'd given her £1,000 there and then. Yeah, weird, isn't it? So that. You know, I mean, there's extras in that, you know, bits and pieces in that, but that's about the sum total of it. So yeah, that's the journey of mediumship. And then I went on to be, I was drawn instinctively to a church in Seaham. I kept looking at it, I kept saying, "I've got a best friend called Natalie." And I've been friends with her for about 10 years, maybe it's longer now. And I was saying to her, "I need to go to this church, I need to go to this church." And anyway, I went to this church this one night, got up, did a demonstration, and the woman who obviously was the, I don't know, church president, Edith, who runs and has CM SNU, she went, "Look," she says, "would you like to come and do a demonstration of mediumship for us?" And I was like, I was stood like looking at her again. Well, no, she asked me, did I do rostrum work? That was what she asked me. And I went, "No, no," says, "I don't do none of that." She said, "I'd like you to put you up there." And I hadn't even seen a rostrum. I didn't even know what one of them things were. I just wasn't even sure what was going on. And I remember I said to her, I'd like to put you up on that rostrum." I was like, "Oh, okay then." Thinking, oh, weeks later, you know. No, no. I was at her circle on the Monday. I was standing demonstrating that Sunday. And I'm not joking. That had philosophy, and I'd never done philosophy in my life. I can remember that. I remember that Sunday service like it was yesterday. The sweat was running down my back. I was that frightened. I was terrified. And that for the next 6 weeks for that church, every medium cancelled, specials, Sundays, for 6 weeks flat out. I worked that church every Sunday and every special that week. That for them 6 weeks. Yeah. There's Laura, who's seen us, and I work CM Church to this day, and I have done for 5 years. Well, not 5 years, probably what, 3 year, 3 year to 3, 4 year on. And then my name got out, people started talking about me, or the churches got in touch. The rest is history. But there's a lot more in it, you know what I mean? I could tell you all sorts of tales, but not on here. I get you. People will be gunning for me. You know what I mean? So no. But there's plenty of tale I could tell you. Plenty of tale. But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it because it would just wouldn't. I just never hear the end of it, and I can't be asked with a chow. I gotta be honest. But yeah. But yeah, what's my thoughts on crystals, tarot cards? Tarot cards, they're just tools, you know what I mean? I'm a great believer in do what's best for you. You want, you know, lots of people say, "Oh, well, you shouldn't be working with tools if you're a good medium," and all of this. And I've got to look at that and think, who am I to judge? It's not my job to judge. It's not my job to say what's right, wrong, or indifferent. If you want to use tools, use tools. If you didn't want to use tools, didn't use them. You know, it's entirely up to you. It's your it's your say, it's your way, it's your thoughts, it's your feelings. What you have to understand is you're getting involved in somebody else's journey. It's not my job to tell them what's right and wrong and different. All my job is to present them with the facts and the knowledge and let them make a choice from that knowledge and allow them to move forward. Give them exercises, see how they work with that. If they don't work with that, let's bring another exercise in. But it's not my job to say what's right, wrong, or indifferent, because as the mind accepts, and this is what everybody forgets, no bother at all, Denise. You know, there's a lot more to that story, Denise. But like, you know, a lot of it I couldn't see on here. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a very simple story, very simple beginning. But you know, I'm a great believer in, you know, when the mind's ready, the mind will accept, and when the mind's accepted, the person moves forward anyway. So, you know, 6 months ago, they may be using cards. Now they're not using cards. They have naturally progressed along that journey, and therefore they don't need them. Does that make sense? And I think when we try to push people, and that I see a lot of that going on, and I'm not trying to dig anybody out, and I'm not trying to be mean or awful or anything here. It's just a personal viewpoint and something that I've seen go on. we pushing people too quick. It's meant to be a journey. It's meant to be an opportunity for you to just take your time and learn at your own pace. There's no quickness here. There shouldn't have to be. We shouldn't be in competition with anybody. You do it when the time is right. You learn as and when you're ready to learn. Because if we were all learning at the same time, it'd be a bit boring, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? And you've just got to accept that that's where their minds are right now, and that when their minds are ready, they'll accept and they'll move forward. You can't make anybody or any mind do anything it's not ready to do, and it's not my job to take away the things that make people feel at home or feel confident in their mediumship. I would rather I might do things, I might not do it right. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's my way isn't the right way. I don't know, but it works for me, so I stick with what I know. What I tend to do is I tend to leave people with what they've got, and then what I do is gradually bring new stuff in, gradually, but don't take this. It's not a safety net. I keep this here and allow them to remove it when the time is right. So I'll introduce new exercises, new things, new opportunities, new. For example, Fiona, she's one of my students. I did the video a couple of days ago on Fiona. Fiona was always shutting her eyes like this, when she was linked into the spirit world. And she wanted to do private sittings, or she'd like to do private sittings. Let me rephrase that. And I thought, you're never going to be able to do private sittings like that. Now, I'd been asking this for a while, and I had a couple of questions on here about it, and I didn't really understand it. I've got to be honest with you. No bother, Dell, see you soon. And I thought, I'm gonna have to get my knowledge on this. I'm gonna have to understand what it is that, to help her. You know what I mean? Because it's important. So I put that thought out and left it alone, and I thought, right, this for a while will bring it forward when the time is right. So they did last week in the Zoom class, last Friday, last Saturday and Sunday. And Fiona was like shutting her eyes, putting her head down, and trying to link in and massively clairsentient medium. And I thought, okay, right. So I thought, right, we'll try this. So I give her this exercise. Nah, she couldn't take that. She was like, I can't say anything, Danielle, nothing, I can't say nothing. I thought, so I went straight back to her. She says, hey, look, I said, this is no good, this, chief. I said, you can't say anything. She doesn't understand what I'm talking about. And she went, leave the clairsentience. He says, and add that in. I said, right, oh, fair enough. So I said to her, and this is what the video was about the other day, was this is the clairsentience was a link. Then there was the clutch, which she found about biting point, and then she pushed forward and she found the clairvoyancy. All through her eyes open. Does that make sense? And when I give it to her, because she's quite a literal lady, she's good with facts and figures. Sometimes I have to adjust the exercises for those who are feeling mediums and for those who are literal facts and figures kinds of mediums. And I found that was important, but when I tried to take that clairsentience off her, she didn't like it. Her mind didn't like it. So I had to find an adjustment around her to keep this here. And then eventually what I'll do is I'll start to ease that off and bring more and more and more of other clairs in. And that's just a natural progression of her mediumship. It's if you try to pull that out or you try to say no, which is exactly what happened, her mind just went to shut down, was like, no, we're not doing that, go away, leave me alone. So I thought, right, we need to adjust that, and we did. And now she's doing a mediumship with her eyes open. And I still kept a clairsentience there, which she likes. She likes that clair. She understands it. And it's like I say to anybody, don't take away the clairs that you're good at, because what we can do is blend more in over time. We can bring more exercises in to slot them in to bring an awareness. And I'm training this weekend, and I've got no doubt, right, that she's going to have a field day this weekend, because she's got that link, she's got that mechanic, it's there now, so she's looking for them visuals all the time, which means that clairsentience will drop off anyway, because she's constantly looking for the visuals. That's just the way I do it. So I hope that helps you out there a little bit. I hope you have liked this video. Please do share it around with your friends. Any other questions? Doing really well, actually. Thank you very much for joining me. It's always I'm always happy to be here with you lot. We hit 50,000 view times, I'm proper impressed with that. Like, I have to be honest with you on that one. Really impressed. We're nearly at 1,900 subscribers now. I was like, Gideon. Me and my little channel. Just traveling along here, doing my thing. Let me know if you have any other questions, folks. Dunno, but YouTube's been really, really glitchy lately. I don't know what's going on with it. Any questions? Any more? Let me know. Let me know if you can still hear me, if I'm still there. Because YouTube has been really weird this last fortnight, 3 weeks. I don't know what's wrong. Now whether changed the algorithm or what, but it's just a nightmare to work with at the minute. Hi Chris, nice to have you here with us. Is everybody finished and done with your questions? Let me know. Tea's breathing. Not worth a card cup of tea. I think we're done, folks. Yes. I kind of see nothing in the comments box, so I'm a little concerned. I don't know what's happened. I don't know whether or not we're losing the stream or what. The stream stopped there. Why are my guides able to speak to me until till the cows come on, but when I'm reading, I don't hear it, but just bits and pieces? Because when you're working with the guide, you've built up that relationship. That guide understands, and you understand that guide. When you're working with the loved ones, it's different because you know it's different. If you treat the loved ones like you were treating like you treat the guide, you'd find that it would really, really probably find it would fit in a bit easier, Lillian. It's just because you know that their loved ones, where when you're with the guide, you're comfortable, you're safe, you know that guide, you know that how they're going to communicate, you know how they're going to work with you. When you're working with loved ones, it's different. And also loved ones work, every loved one is not the guide, and the guide works differently to the loved ones. Every loved one's different. So they're using different techniques, different clairs, different ways of working with the mind, where the guide knows exactly how your mind works, it knows exactly how to communicate with you, knows exactly how to understand you and get that information over. The loved ones don't always have that ability, so I hope that helps you out there a little bit. Patsy, when I was a girl growing up, no one spoke about spirit, but you, bless you, are an inspiration. Didn't have it that way, but oh, I'm just little old Danielle, doing nothing, trying to make a little bit of difference in the world. You know what I mean? Not everybody's gonna get me. Not everybody's gonna love me. Not everybody's gonna agree with what I've got to say, and I'm okay with that. You know, there's plenty of other YouTubers and Facebookers and whatever else it may be. I'm happy just to plod along and do my thing and just do what I need to do. Yeah, definitely, definitely, Lindsay. I don't know what's the matter. The YouTube's been naff. It has the last couple of weeks. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's been an absolute pain. I'm going to leave it probably there for tonight, actually, folks. But thank you very much for Pat's lovely comment. Thank you very much for all you who's joined me. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you're interested in the open circles and connections to the Sitting in the Power thing, comment, email address is in the comments or the description box below. If you're interested in the classes and that type of thing, it's www.daniellethehappymedium.com. If you want to donate, there's a link running along the thing. Check that out there and all. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm back in a fortnight's time. So, please do come along and certainly get involved in that. No problem, Lillian, no problem at all. Certainly do get involved with the training, and I'll see you all in a fortnight's time for the next live stream. Share with friends, invite your friends to the channel, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye for now.